Peppa's world is more than 20 years old, and a lot has changed from the first episode until today. Are you sure you noticed that the show isn't the same anymore? George. One of the biggest changes, and a pretty recent one, was George's hearing aid. This character has always been known as Peppa's little brother, who could only say the word dinosaur. But now the little pig is wearing a device in his ears because he is having trouble hearing. In the episode Hearing Test, Daddy and Mommy Pig take their children to the doctor for checkups, until they discover that George is having problems hearing, and that from now on, he will have to use a hearing aid so he can hear properly. This is a big change in the series, because now the show wants to tell a new story for George, one that explores a physical disability he has. And this is a huge moment for the character, not to mention that it makes children who use hearing aids feel happy, because they will see themselves in George. This is one of the big changes that happen in the series, and we're going to show you everything right now. So grab your popcorn and get comfy on the couch. Another Cinewave is starting. Dinosaur. Basement. One of the things that, to this day, is one of the biggest mysteries in Peppa's world is the change in the house's basement. Everyone knows there is a secret room underneath the pig family's house. We know this because, in the episode where Daddy Pig is looking for flashlights, he opens the door under the stairs and goes down to the basement. But in the episode The Secret Room, Peppa and George decide to open the same door, and instead of the stairs that go down to the basement, they find some kind of closet. And that is a really weird thing to think about. Everyone knows there is a basement down there. So where did it go? Is Daddy Pig hiding something? It's very possible that he is, but we're only going to find out if the creators of the series decide to tell the truth. What do you think about this? Car. One thing a lot of people don't understand is that the pig family's car has already changed several times. Everyone recognizes Daddy's red car, but they have already had a blue car and even an electric vehicle that could talk. This is a change that has happened a few times in Peppa's world, and it's an interesting detail because the creators of the show don't seem very interested in letting Daddy Pig keep the new car. This is a pretty interesting detail. Even though the pig family has changed cars several times, he always goes back to his old red car, but right now he is using a bigger car that is also that same color. Have you ever noticed these changes? Shoes. Have you ever noticed that Peppa's shoes should be red? In the Little Pig's world, back in the early seasons, we watched an episode where she loses her sneakers, and her parents take the little pig to buy a new pair at Miss Rabbit's shop. Peppa chose very pretty red shoes that she never took off. She even decided to take a bath wearing those shoes. But the interesting thing is that when the little pig goes to play by jumping in muddy puddles, Mommy Pig asks her to put on her boots. So far, that makes sense. She didn't want to get her new sneakers dirty, but Peppa never wore the red pair on her feet again in the following episodes. She goes back to her usual black shoes, and that makes no sense. Did you notice this change? Would you like to jump in muddy puddles with Peppa? Or are you afraid of getting your feet dirty? Comment the hashtag Peppa so we can get to know each other. Penny. There are characters who were changed from the creator's original plan for the series. Do you know Penny Pony? That's right, it's exactly what you're thinking. Today, you know there is a character named Pedro Pony. He is one of the main character's best friends, and he is also a character everyone thinks will eventually end up marrying Peppa, since she herself has already said she would like to be his wife. But what many fans don't know is that, at the beginning of the series, the creator's idea was to make a character named Penny Pony. She would be Peppa's friend in the same way Susie is, but that plan changed when the creative team realized there weren't many girl characters. They had to change that situation, so they created Pedro Pony. Today, he is one of the most interesting characters in the Little Pigs universe, and as we've already explained, he is also serving as the basis for big theories about being the main character's first boyfriend. Today, the character Penny Pony still exists. She appeared a few times in the background of some episodes, and even played with Peppa a few times. But the change is clear. She lost her space to Pedro. Opening. When you think about Peppa's opening, it's easy to remember the little pig introducing her family, and the new opening didn't change too much about that. But you did notice that it isn't the same thing anymore, right? Before, the little little pig would fall into the scene from the show's logo. Then she would introduce George, Mommy, and then Daddy, and all of them would let out a very loud pig snort. But now, instead of falling, Peppa comes out of the house into the backyard, and we can already see that her house has changed. We see the car and a toy with a slide on the grass. Then she introduces George, who bumps into his sister and falls on the ground. That didn't happen before. She also introduces Evie, who has just been born, and only at the end does the main character show her parents. One interesting thing about the change in the opening is that they don't snort anymore. Some fans didn't like that very much. But what about you? Do you prefer seeing them snort or not? Carol Cow. You've probably heard about Carol Cow several times, but did you know there is a big change in the series because of her? This happened way back at the beginning of the show. This character was designed to be one of the main character's friends, and more than that, she was going to be very important in the story, because even today, you can find official toys to buy online that were created by Hasbro. But Carol wasn't going to wear a blue outfit like we see in some episodes. She would have horns and would wear a yellow outfit, just like her mother, Mrs. Cow. But something happened, and the character lost space in the show, and the whole idea behind her disappeared. So much so that she isn't even at her mother's wedding with Mr. Bull. Whatever the truth behind this is, we hope the creators show more of Carol Cow in the future. But what do you think about it? The house. You're watching the new season of Peppa Pig and notice that the big change in the series was the renovation of the main character's family house. This change is super important because now that the pigs have a new baby girl, the place where they lived needed more space. In the new episodes, we see that every part of their home has improved. Now there is new furniture, a new TV, and of course, new bedrooms. This is a change that isn't exactly that secret, but you'll notice that it's much more important and has more details than people imagine. To start, you must have noticed that the show is more colorful. The walls have better paint, catching the fans' attention, and on top of that, there are more pictures on the walls. This change happened because the creators realized that fans like to analyze the background and notice Peppa's toys and drawings spread around everywhere. And let's be honest, it looks much nicer this way. The subscribe button is right there, waiting for you. How about clicking and keeping up with everything we post? Bedroom. Still talking about the house, there is a change that needs to be on our list, and that is Peppa and her brother George's bedroom. Before, the two of them slept in the same room in a purple bunk bed. There were some drawings in the background and a clock near the little pig's bed. It wasn't exactly a room full of things to look at, but now things have changed. Peppa and George sleep in separate rooms, and both of them have lots of toys and clothes. Now Peppa sleeps in a super colorful room with a painting of clouds and castles in the background, unicorn decorations, and a wardrobe with colorful dresses near the bed. This is a very important change in the series because it proves that the show is finally thinking about the future, and we are probably going to have another evolution coming, since the next Peppa movie will be in 3D. Could the series now be made with a new animation style? It's very possible, but would you like that change? Time. Another change that is pretty secret in the show and that you may not have noticed is how time exists in the Little Pigs cartoon. As everyone already knows, the show has been on TV for more than 20 years, and that means many stories have already been told. We've had several Christmas episodes, and even so, Peppa is still a 4-year-old little pig. But ever since Evie was born, the show's timeline has completely changed. First, we had the announcement of Mommy Pig's pregnancy, then she went to the hospital to get an ultrasound, the kind where we can see the baby inside the mother's belly. After that, there was a gender reveal party to show whether the new little pig would be a boy or a girl. And of course, after that, we finally met Evie. This change is showing that the series is no longer a cartoon where time doesn't pass. Now, the days are finally moving forward, and proof of that is George's hearing aid, because he keeps wearing it even after several episodes. Did you notice the change in the show's timeline? Sky. There is a change in the show's art that is making everything look prettier, but almost no one is talking about it. Have you noticed that the sky in the show looks different? Before, in Peppa's world, we could only see the sky during a sunny day or at night. Sometimes it rained, but now, in the latest seasons, we can even see the sky showing a sunset. In the episode Cheese Fondue, we can see the sky with more orange and purple colors. And even though it is a simple change, it is proof that the creators of the show are bringing in more details to make the Peppa series even more beautiful. Walls. Another detail that changed is the art style of the walls in the houses. One example is that Peppa's new house seems to be better built, with rectangles drawn on the walls, making it look like they are bricks. The living room wall also also changed. Even though it is still green, you can see that there are designs on the wall behind the TV, showing that now there is a different paint job or some kind of wallpaper covering the paint. The children's bedroom also changed. Now we have drawings of the sun and lakes with ducklings and clouds, all to make the experience of watching Peppa Pig more and more special. You hadn't noticed that, had you? That's why, to understand everything about the universe of cartoons, you always need to stay with us. The fun doesn't stop here. There are 2 amazing videos waiting for you on the screen. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.